And welcome back. The Concerned Citizens Club aims to do a lot. They have some lofty goals. One of them is to promote world peace, economic and social justice for all peoples, good government, and the protection of Earth's precious resources. So they got a lot on their agenda. One of the things on their agenda is John Beckett and Charlie Prater here to talk about the Good Governance Committee. Welcome to the program, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And so let's start with Uncle Sam over here.
Uncle Sam is here. And people say, why am I here? Well, we're here, during World War II, I went out and asked you to serve our country. Today, I'm here saying, I want you to serve your community.
There we go.
Okay? I want you to get out there and support your community, you can be I goofed the heck out of this.
All sorts of good stuff there.
I'm glad this isn't live. You would have way too much fun with me.
So Charlie, tell me a little bit about the Good Governance Committee in its essence there.
Can I answer that?
Sure, absolutely.
The Good Government Club is part of Concerned Citizens, and our goals are to improve communication between residents and leaders and staff, and to encourage residents to pay attention to and participate in deliberations by village leadership. Third is to increase transparency in village decision making. And fourth is to encourage more residents to accept roles as village leaders.
Okay. Now, how do you go about doing that? I guess that's really the big question, because there's always that notion that we should be more involved citizens, we should be more in tune to our community, we should get involved in good governance, but how do you get folks to see the value in that or take the time to do that?
Well, everybody gets this card in the mail. And it says, about halfway down, there will be 4 open positions in, for example, the United Mutual. And that's what the Good Government Committee, one of our goals is to get people to run for these positions on the board. And it's a tough job. I don't want to say that it's a walk in the park, but if you have the background, if you know about, for example, if you can read a financial statement, or if you can read a statute, or if you've had a business of your own, if you had to meet a payroll, anything that might give you the experience and the training to handle the job of a director. And right now, the elections are open for 3rd and United, and we encourage everybody who thinks that they have the talent to handle this job to give it a try. And if you need help with, you're going to need to know about the governing documents. You're going to need to know about the laws that apply to HOAs. And at our meetings, we cover a lot of that stuff. So our job is not just to get directors elected, but to give them the knowledge they need and to encourage them. Not only do we want to elect directors, we also want to communicate with directors. Every director has an email address, and sometimes when a director does something that's it takes a courageous stand or makes some sort of an extraordinary effort, we would like you to write to that director and say, hey, we like what you're doing.
All right. Get them that support they're looking for, because I can imagine they feel they're out alone on an island sometimes a little bit in that world.
That's a good analogy.
So, John, if somebody doesn't want to jump into being a director or run for a board, aren't there kind of baby steps people can take along the way? Maybe serve on a committee and doing some other ways, and they can volunteer in some way to serve and get the kind of the flavor of what the work is like?
Well, yeah, especially with the different clubs and everything out there, including Concerns, you can go out there and you can be on a committee of your choice, okay? And those committees will help you get along, help you learn, help you be part of the whole system here. We have a great system here, okay? It just needs to be fine-tuned, and people need to get involved. I think that's the big thing. There's not enough people involved. We need people to run for these positions. We need people to get on these committees, and that would really, that's what this is all about.
Right, just kind of some way of service. I know that I think, you know, sometimes, John, people get riled up when they hear about something that has gone wrong, or they don't like a decision that the board has made. That's when you folks, sometimes you get people in there and come into the meetings. But one of the things is that engagement that isn't there, so they don't really know all the steps in the process that got the board members to the decision that they're making sometimes.
Exactly. That's one of the things we're concerned with.
Right.
And unfortunately, there's very few people show up at the board meetings. And even fewer come to the committee meetings. However, we did have a meeting of this called the Building E Committee, and there was a mass of people showed up for that. We filled the entire boardroom and even had to go into the overflow room upstairs. And that was the subject of that meeting, that was to decide whether or not to move the pickleball club, I mean the table tennis club, out of this facility and into another one. And fortunately, the chair of that committee was willing to listen to what they had to say. And it really was, it opened a lot of eyes. And that's what we need. We need people to say, you know, before the decision is made, we need to bring them in. Hey, this may affect you. And get them to come in and say, I like it or I don't like it. And that way the directors will have something to go on.
Right. And I think some people get the impression, I think maybe, in terms of the governance, is that directors just kind of make a snap decision. They've decided to change this. We're going to have this guy. But really, it is the work that gets done in the committee that feeds up to the boards to help them inform their decisions, right? So again, those committee services positions can really be that entryway, the gateway into understanding how the systems works and how these boards are run.
Oh, I agree. That's a very good point. Everything starts in a committee, usually, most things, and it needs an endorsement of a committee before it can go before the board. The board, of course, has the final say on everything. The committees really don't have much authority except to make a recommendation to the board.
Right. But they're doing the work that the board members simply can't do. The board members couldn't study all of the landscaping and architecture and building support and redevelopment and renovations and all of the things that they can't possibly do that all by themselves, right?
Well, that's one of the hardest parts about being a director, is that there's the scope of the duties of what goes on around here is so vast, and you can't possibly be an expert in every one of these fields.
Right.
So if the board is doing its job, they'll make sure that they get expert advice before they take any steps. And the same with the committee. They'll also want to get advice from people who do know that subject and can give good advice.
So how can people get involved in good governance with you guys and learn more about what's going on?
Well, the Good Governance Committee meets twice a month, second and fourth Thursday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Right now, we're meeting at the little conference room that's right next to the box office in Clubhouse 3. And we meet at 10 o'clock in the morning, twice a month, the second and fourth Thursdays of the month. And we invite people who are interested in becoming, you don't have to jump in and be a director right away. As you suggested, you know, you can be a committee advisor, and there are other ways to work your way into it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for coming on the program. Concerned Citizens and the Good Governance Committee, they're doing good work there. And Charlie, we're going to light a fuse and see if you pop off or something like that.
Okay.
I know what you'll be dressed like for 4th of July.
I'll be like the 4th of July. But we want to make it clear to everybody that we want you to serve your community. We want you to serve your mutual. And we want to come together as a good party.
There we go. John and Charlie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Michael.
You're watching This Day. We'll be right back.